Good afternoon, everyone. It's Saturday. The weather is doing really well, and it gives us a little taste of spring right this moment. So I really wish that I could do it outdoor instead of in the office. So today's topic is requested by one of our YouTube follower, and in the past we have done similar ones talk about extension, but he wants folks want an update because it is coming around the corner. And right now we are April the 6th and April 15. Many type of entity, including 1040, need to file extension if you don't file them before the due date, right? So very frequently folks will ask, okay, Ying, pros and cons. Am I going to get more audit if I file extensions? See, I didn't file them on time. And some will say that, am I going to skip the audit? See, I didn't come into this big time. Everybody was filing. So maybe I should file extension to just run away from possible draws for audit, right? So speculations, you can hear people talking in different ways about the opinion of filing extension. So let's just break the secrecy of this thing and let's talk about the pros and the cons and really how that works. All right. And before we start, I'd like to share a screen with you to go through our company's information. And you see, this is our website. A lot of times, if you are our YouTube followers and you subscribe to our channel, if a topic I talk about triggers your interest and you would like to learn more, and you can always, on the YouTube channel right here, you can always type in the topics. For example, let's just do 401k. So 401k as one of the tools for tax saving. So you type into 401k related topic will show up for you, folks. Did you see that? So you can actually, learn in that way. And of course, you can also use our website to simply go to appointments. And we're really big with appointments, right? I have books related to appointments. So you can come to the appointments and you can select one of the partners here. And if you, let me move this one away. If you select Dr. Hao, then it gives you the time that is available and then what time is available so you can book for these type of appointment. So I just want to show you that this is the tool for you to not be isolated with, oh, I just don't know what else to do. I heard something about something Ying talked about and no follow-up or anything. So you know how to get a hold of us. You know how to follow up on your issue and a question. You can always dig into our webinars. So today we talk about pros and cons of filing. And then let me start moving this one into a shared screen so we can start looking at it together. So these are the ones I was showing you. Let me move my PowerPoint over. Now you see, I have this pros and cons of filing a extension right in front of you folks. And we are going to focus on this today. And of course, about our firm, you hear me talking a little bit already. We are actually a 26, 27 years old firm. And out of these 20-some years, we have developed close to 40 professionals. We speak 10, collectively, we speak 10 different languages. And then, of course, we have more than 10,000 clients worldwide. I say that because we do have overseas clients who are focused on international side of tax issue. We also have clients all over the country here in United States. So we are consider ourselves having worldwide client. We have 5 branches. The number 5 is the one that we just set up this year. That is Houston, Texas branch. That branch is located in Houston Galleria area. we are going through building renovations, and hopefully by June 1st, and we can start working in from that location. So that is our number 5 branch. We have 4 other branches in California, Iowa, and Minnesota. And I myself, just to give you a little highlight about myself, other than I'm the CEO, managing partner for Community CPA, I also served on the Federal Advisory Committee to advise IRS for 3 years. So a little bit more in-depth understanding of IRS, that goes a long way. So when you work with us, we show you, we teach you how exactly you'll be impacted. If you get audited, we're not gonna fill up your fears and making you lose sleep. We will be objectively explaining to you how things would be done. I mean, we work with IRS for so long, so well, and I always tell folks that if you want to find a government entity that is actually fair, and you will often find them in the federal and the state government. Of course, there's always things were not done right, but from the general standpoint and from our own experience here practicing CPA public accounting for the past 27 years, and that's the general consensus we can give you, the general comfort we can offer you, so you don't have to walk into a tax preparer's office, feel that they're just too scared of IRS, they can't even speak English properly. I'm just, using that, but not about English. It's more about how to make sure that you are doing it right and by the taxpayers, and you're also following through regulations and rules to make sure your practice is sounded. That is really the combination we have here. And I also wrote 2 books already. So the Appointment with Ying at 8 a.m., that was published in 2019. And the Appointment with Ying at 10 a.m. for Growing Your Business, that was published in 2023 spring. So I am in the process to write about Appointment with Ying at 2 p.m., which is expanding your business. Expanding your business is not the same as starting, not the same as growing. It just is a different animal, and I am still learning it myself. Just like how you see our firm expanded to Houston, it's not like I have the magic wand. I know this is gonna be perfect, gonna be right. I do not know, but I will write about it. I will give you the insight so you can use that in your own business to be successful. I'm really into sharing. And I believe that it's not me being selflessly sharing everything I know to you, so you don't have to come to do service with us. It is not even from that regard. This sharing is 100% beneficial for a professional. When we share, we take on responsibility. When we share, we're motivated to learn. When we share, and we do better job when we are at the job. So sharing is actually everything beneficial to the firm, to me, myself. Otherwise, I would not dedicate every weekend to study things, to learn things, to come here talk to you, right? Of course, you get the knowledge for free, so learning is 100% beneficial for you. So I share, you learn, and we make a good team, right? And with that said, my book carries the same spirit. I share what I know. It is a very easy read. English is my second language. I'm not that great with English, but I can write proficiently to express what I want to say. That English is very simple, and you will find that in my book. No responsibility is related to this webinar is free. If the webinar is not free, we take responsibility to make sure that is absolutely right. because it's free, we don't know who is listening to it. We don't know who's using it. So you may be listening or using it in an incorrect way. So we can't be responsible. But before we come on to talk to you, we have already done our due diligence to make sure the contact is really correct for you for this time. All right, so what is extension? Filing tax extension is requesting the government agency, whether it's IRS or it's the state, to give you additional time to file the form. So for personal tax, you use 4868, and the other business, you use 7004 form. So the forms are different, right? Nowadays with Google, with the internet, it's so easy to figure it out. So I would say that you rely on IRS website. So when you go onto Google, you say 1040 extension. So forms, you type it in. It will give you all these resources, but always pick irs.gov. So that would be most reliable resources. You don't want to pull out some tax shops and maybe they don't even know what they're doing. And I just want to make sure that you know how I do research. I use IRS website, I use state website a lot. That's where the answers are coming from, right? And most extension requests will be honored by the government automatically as long as you filed on time. So we call that automatic extension. Automatic just means that there's no approval process. You're not going to get a letter says, congratulations, IRS has approved your extension request. No, there's no such thing. You just need to file on time. What if you say that I filed on time, but IRS said that I didn't? In this case, you just want to make sure that you have proofs to show you filed on time. As long as you have that proof, even if IRS come back and goes, no, you didn't, I'm going to penalize you for late filing, you have no worry. You can just attach to your proof and there you go. You may ask me, okay, Ying, what is the proof? The proof can be a post-dated, the postmark on your envelope that's sending out the extension. Could also be a extension filing that you were giving by your tax preparer. So let's say if you come to me, say, oh, Ying, I need to file extension, and I will do it for you electronically. But when I finish that, I'll give you the electronic copy of what I filed, so you have that in your hand. In case 3 years later, I have to come back to bite you, and then you still have that because you have done that with a professional firm. But of course, if you work with a firm like Community CPA, we save our data forever. You know, we started the operation back in 1998. Believe it or not, everything from 1998 is still in our database. So you will never come to us, goes, oh, 5 years ago, I was your client. You know, I did this and that, and can you give me a copy? We go, oh, it's just all gone. No, it is still there as long as you have done something with us. A lot of CPA firms are like that, folks. So you don't have to worry about it. Just know that you can have a copy with you and save it as a safeguard, right? To avoid the penalty. The maximum, the penalty for late filing is 25%. 25% of the amount you owe. All right. Now, let's go take a look at what extension, what a extension does not do for you. The extension don't take you away from the penalty on the late payment. See, extension is just simply filing the tax forms. The time is being extended. So whatever you put on the 1040 and that particular form, you can submit in October and instead of right now because you filed extension. But extension does not help you to void penalty interest on the amount you did not pay on April 15, but you want to pay them in October. That doesn't help. So they do not help you to save your penalty interest if you owe money. So that's really key to remember. And extension also don't help you to save penalty from estimated tax. You know, a lot of times folks are kind of struggle with the concept of estimated tax. Oh, I already paid taxes. When I got my W-2, I noticed that they're taking taxes away from me. Why do I have to pay estimated tax? So let's just kind of remember this. If in 1 year you ended up writing a check to the government on April 15, you know, those are regular due date, right? That is coming up in about 10 days here. And when you write a check to the government saying that, oh, I owe you, here is the check, that pretty much marks your need to file estimated tax next year. If you owed money already, you need to make sure the following year, the next year, you don't owe money. If you do, you would incur estimated tax payment, because the government idea is that, well, you already knew you owe taxes. Why are you not, learn your lesson and pay ahead of time, pay enough? And they don't like you don't pay. So they want to make sure you at least pay 90% of all of your tax due in the following year. So that way they don't access estimated taxes penalty on you. So those are the wasted money, right? Tips. You know, I say those are the tips you give to IRS. Because you are not managing your tax payment properly, you just pay more. You just pay more because you didn't pay it on time, because when you filed the extension, you didn't submit your payment with it. So just know that extension is not a saving plan for you not to pay taxes. Extension is simply to say that I'll submit my document to you late, but I need to pay my taxes due now. All right. So the list of the timeline. So what are the timelines? So 1040 and 1040 often related to Schedule C, right, folks? And if you have a small business, and especially most of our clients are business clients, so you're here with us to file 1040, you must have, a C corporation and a S corporation, Schedule E, Schedule C, and then 1065, all of these entities. So when you file 1040, and if you extended it, and your sole proprietor business and your tax return is all got pushed to October 15. If you have a C corporation, then got pushed to October 15 as well. And you know that earlier when we did extension already for some of the pass-through entities, those ones are due on September 15, right? So you want to make sure that you file your extension on time. So that gives you time to work your taxes. So what if you owe taxes when you file extension, or you say that I don't know whether I owe or not, and Ying, what do I do? You need to estimate that. And we often, a lot of times, in our firm, we have a lot of business clients are filing extension, not because we don't have time to do their taxes are done, but we hold on to that taxes to do one important work, which is to verify the tax data, it is complete. So to do that, we actually file extension, gave ourselves time to wait for confirmation from the government to ensure the data is complete. So what if if you are one of our clients, obviously you already know whether you owe or not, but let's say you're doing it yourself and you're not sure whether you owe it or not. What I will tell you is to look at your last year. If the last year you owe, and you also know that there's not much changes of this year, 2023, then just go ahead and pay what you paid in last year and pay it with extension to avoid interest and a penalty calculation. Okay. And why would people want to, since the payment doesn't even get delayed, why do I care? Why do I need to delay the tax filing? You have a lot of reason to delay tax filing. The most common reason we see in our shop is business related. For example, just a couple of days ago, we have a business owner who closed their business in 2023. Okay, so the business already filed closed, but in 2023, the business was a pass-through entity, so we already did the closing on March 15. Because it is last year filing, so we recommended client that don't file your pass-through entity yet until we finish your personal, just to make sure there's nothing we miss. Long behold, and he received a payment. He received the payment from a customer to that closed company, and he didn't even know, he didn't expect it. So there you go. We had a situation with company we closed, but we got this payment coming in. What do you do? And we would have to go in to change the pass-through entity and put in the payment and run that K1 through, and our 1040 is changed again, right? So those are the reasons you want to wait. But maybe he did not know early enough of this 15,000 additional income. And what if we filed 1040 already? What if that 15,000 comes in after April 15, right? So when you close the company, you really want to make sure to give enough time for all your payable and receivable to clear before you draw the period on the tax return. Luckily, you can do your return late in September, so give yourself 9 months to clean out all of your transaction, right? So make sure that's one of the big reasons. Of course, there's other reasons like life change. You got your wedding in the month of April, and how could you even focus on getting taxes done? We would just say that enjoy your wedding, and here, let's file extension with payment if you think that you will be ending up with tax payment, or if we calculate it for you and you will be ending up with additional tax dues. So that would be a reason. Here I wrote about, you might need additional time to organize your deduction. You might need extra time to finish your other tax document from a pass-through entity. So those are all good reasons. I do have example scenarios. If you close your business in 2023 and you want to finish up your business balance sheet first before filing 1040, and this is where that earlier example I give you, you got payable receivables you don't know. And especially if you are doing cash method accounting all of the business years, and you probably don't even remember what you're gonna get in 2024. So this would be an example that business related activity would impact your 1040, file them with some delay. But this particular example I give you is even more amazing. So let's say you have a C Corp and then you close it. Your business worth 100K and you close it with zero money to come to you. So basically you had 100K loss, am I right? Because your business is actually have 100K assets sitting on there and you got nobody paying you nothing. You just closed the business and just decided to, not to be bothered. And in this case, you actually have $100,000 deduction made available to your 1040. And if you just, rush to file your 1040 and your C corporation hasn't really closed yet, wouldn't that be a loss to you, right? So just do not imagine that your business don't have a lot to do with your personal. I will tell you that every business, doesn't matter what business structure you are in, it has something to do with your 1040. Just remember that. Maybe someone tells you that, nah, C corporation doesn't issue K1, you're safe, you're fine. You can file C corporation or your tax return separately. Don't worry. Don't connect each other and they don't bother each other and you're just fine. I will tell you that's a false statement. That's an easy statement for some professionals just want it simple. They don't want, they can cut you off from the two, but they don't have to think for you with connected numbers. But that's not the right way to do our work. And at our firm, I refuse to do that for our client. We absolutely will walk you through to the end close your company, then file your 1040. Your 1040 will be the last one to file and will take care of everything happens in your life. And the pros to file extension. So we're talking about what's so good about filing extension and filing the taxes late. So if you know you will be late anyway, file extension will reduce the late penalty. Okay, and if your CPA are just too busy, be nice to them and just say that I'm okay to file extension. Then it will give them a little break. Who knows what they're busy with, right? So especially if the firm is small, it is really difficult to, to match up to all of the client expectations. And of course, the bigger firm you work with, there's more opportunities for one person don't have time, the other staff has time, so things will work out for you. And extra time to make an election. So give yourself time to consult with professional to determine whether you will take certain deduction and credit and how your balance would be, and then make that election. Once you made the election, you know all of these things need to be done, so that would give you more time. So what if you made an election and someone tell you that you're eligible for R&D credit, work opportunity credit, healthcare premium credit? All of these credit, folks, is not something that you can just rush that into April 15. You probably do need extra 6 months to work that out. And the extension also extended your 3-year statute of limitation to get your tax refund back. So what does that mean? So for example, 2023, and right now we're filing 2023 tax return, right? So let's say we filed your tax return, filed extension, filed them in October, and we realized that we made a mistake. We need to amend the 2023. But if we amend 2023, what is the timeline for us to amend? Because you filed extension, so the timeline is 3 years. It is 3 years before October 15, not 3 years before April 15, because you filed extension. This is where we say that, because if you don't file amendment within the 3 years, you don't have your refund anymore. But of course, if you still owe money, is a different story. But let's say if you're filing the refund, if you're filing the amendment is for the purposes of getting the refund back to you, you want to do that within the 3 years. But when you do that within the 3 years, if you file the extension, your time is extended by 6 months. So that is actually very beneficial for tax professionals, so we don't have to rush your amendment before April 15. Trust me, we have rushed amendment, before April 15 a lot, because when client come around, they brought their taxes, was done wrong, we have to amend, then we have a timeline. So it's kind of can be stressful, but just so you know, that's one of the pros to file extension. And to file an extension also can help you to take your time to fund a self-employed pension plan or 401k plan or SEP plan or IRA simple plan. All these names I throw out here for you. It is basically a deferred income, right? So you made $60,000, you are going to pay taxes. But with the deferred benefit plan, it can wipe out your 60,000, put them into deferred benefit plan, then here you pay taxes on zeros because it is all went. So that extension actually give you time to come up with cash flow. For example, if you have a cash balance plan, normally that is due at the extension time. Of course, you can pay it early, but I mean, it just really helps with cash flow if you have a whole year from January to September trying to gather all your pension amount, right? And know that these pension payment, even though you hasn't paid yet, but you can still book them as your expense under your tax return. So you can still deduct it. It's so super beneficial. And you can, of course, improve the accuracy of your return because of your filing extension. So how your business might give you reasons to file extension. So, remember, you don't have to justify that. You don't have to justify that with IRS. When you file extension, it's automatic. But you want the reason. You want a reason that can convince you for a extension filing, right? So, if you started a business and make decision on what kind of tax structure you want your business to be, and it will generate different outcome on your 1040. And in this kind of cases, there's still time to change your tax structure. For example, and in 2023, you set up a sole proprietorship LLC, and the business runs so well, and you're gonna be paying so much taxes with self-employment tax, and now it's time to file. And your tax preparer said that we should probably elect this company to be an S corp, so at least a portion of that revenue can be classified to be a K1 distribution, so you don't have to pay the self-employment amount, right? So that extension time buys those critical planning time for you. Yes, you can go backwards. You can do a late election. There is a provision at IRS allows small business to be acting so late, but still give you the benefit of the right tax structure. So those are very good example of why extension just give you some leverage to better use your money. Okay. And a major life change, of course, that's something I don't have to say, you know what I mean. So just know that is your option to file extension. And our recommendation would just be that make sure you got the taxes paid. Here, I want to bring this thing to you, and we call it data match. So at our firm, and we have been doing that for at least 20 some years. It is a invention in our firm that we do it for our client. So what essentially we do is we actually inquiry of the government to see the data that's under your Social Security, under your EIN number. So whatever business ID you have, and we inquiry to see what IRS has. Of course, they have to give to us, right? The freedom of information, and you are guaranteed to be able to get a hold of those information. So we take the information to our firm, and we start to match them with what you give us. So you're saying that, oh, you got a mortgage interest for this amount, but when we drew from IRS data and we realize your amount is, $100,000 off, then we will be changing yours. And we know that whatever goes with IRS is probably the right data. Of course, probably the right data doesn't mean it's always the right data. So many years ago, we have a client, we did a data match, and regular clients, but it showed up on the government data shows that she received 700 some thousand interest income. Can you believe it? Yeah, 700 some thousand. Imagine if we did not match to the data, we just filed her return. There's no such a thing about 790 some thousand interest income, and she didn't have that on her original tax return. So now we know the government has it. So we went to ask her, oh, what's going on? And we got this one. She knew what's going on. So she went back to the people who issue those, tell them that, hey, folks, you're doing it wrong. That's not interest income. And please make corrections. Otherwise, when I file taxes, I'll be audited. So we worked with the other party, made a correction, and so her tax return was filed as what we were going to file. But this whole data match actually did save her life. Am I right? So it's same. It can save your life. And if you're running business so busy and you know to your heart that you're not very good at managing it, your statements is all over the place, and you're sending tax document to your tax preparer so sporadically, you don't even know what you give to them. And if you are the one, if you are that person, don't have to apologize. Just make sure you know there is a treatment for it. That is to do data match with Community CPA. We do that. So when we match to your data, we avoid audit. And can you imagine that your tax return was done with all the data that agrees with what's up there in the White House? No, not in the White House, but I'm kidding. And they're too busy for something else, and nothing was really meaningfully done for the taxpayer for the last many years. So let's just not even talk about what they're doing. Just for us, we want to make sure that we get our data all together, and so we can look at you and do the right filing. Imagine it goes to the government system. The system is more and more advanced. They actually compare the data and ring you out if you don't match. But if you match, you become one of the billions and sitting in the black hole, and you don't ever get a chance to be looked at, even if you want to. So that is what we're saying, that to match the data and do the return. So what would be the drawback of extension? Am I going to have more risk to be audited because I'm always late? Absolutely not. The extension is something the government offered to taxpayers. They understand we're not machines. We all have personal life. We have reason for what we have done to our taxes. So with that said, there's no prejudice to whether you file extension or not. So the key thing is, if you do file extension, you want to file it right. You want to file it on time. So that way, and file it with your tax due, so you don't end up with paying more taxes and a penalty and interest, right? So but the drawback on filing extension, the biggest drawback I see is actually mental. For some of the folks, just having extension filed, taxes is not done, just not acceptable to their lifestyle. And don't blame anybody for that. Don't blame yourself if you're one. And that's totally normal. You know how just, see it as if it is, it's a life habit, right? Some people just do not want that. For me, I do not want to eat breakfast. I don't care who tell me what. And, I am a person that never eat breakfast. I started my first meal at lunchtime, but I do eat evening snack. So I kind of reverse breakfast before going to bed. It's not a healthy habit, but if you think I look healthy, then you do what I do. I don't eat breakfast. So, people who doesn't want to file extension, just pretty much like how I don't want to eat breakfast. No big deal. And you are fine. But if you are that, and you want to make sure all these drawbacks I was talking about, if you don't file extension, you may not have time to do the business arrangement. So maybe when you become a business owner, you just start to tell yourself that it's okay to file extension, right? And some folks are heavily traveling in the summer, or summer is their busy time. They can't do taxes. They need to get that done in the winter. So those are the reason. And the people who are day traders, who does mark-to-market elections, and for that election year, you need to submit your election paper 475 election together with your tax return on April 15. Just know that you could also do that with your extension. You could do extension with the election. That is still considered on time for your date mark to market. And you may not know exactly how much you owe without completing your tax return. So the penalty fees applies if you miscalculate it. So, that is what can be a bummer, right? Can be a bummer. You filed the extension, but you calculated it wrong. So that happens from time to time. And if you need to use your 1040 to buy a house, buy properties, and do investment, and the investor want it right away, and that's a bummer. That make you feel like, no, I need it right away. And let me tell you this, if you are working on loans, and someone insists you have a 1040 filed and return filed, You can tell them that you filed extension, then give them the draft. I have not met with lenders who would demand the final return before the extended due date in the process of doing your loan. But of course, they're looking at your previous year's filing record, right? So you must have your, like for example, right now, if you apply for loan, they will look at your 2022, they will look at your draft 2023, they will look at your current 2024 financial statement, right? So I'm just saying that to file extension should not be a reason that you did not get the loan. I have not seen that. And I don't think it is legally possible to say that you have to file because the government give the extension option to taxpayer without us giving any reason. They automatically extend. That just tells you that that's your basic human right. That is just your right as a taxpayer. Okay, you'll wait longer to get your tax refund. That's a con for the filing extension because when you file extension, if you have a lot of refund you're expecting, then sorry, you will just have to wait. It's impossible to get a refund by filing extension, right? So if you return, of course, straightforward, don't file extension. You go ahead and file timely. It is not like I'm here trying to sell you to do extension. Not at all. I'm here to take your burden away from the understanding or the wrong understanding of how the extension works. All right, so come back to so this concludes the issues related to extension. So you understand what I'm saying now, and now April 15 is coming up, folks. That's the time to make sure you file extension on time. If you mail the extension out, you want to make sure you have a stamp. You have the post office registered mail for the day. And you don't want to say that, oh yeah, I have a stamp and I put in the box and it's gone. No, that's irresponsible because that could trigger that, IRS goes, I never got your extension, so I'm charging you late filing and a couple $1,000, and then you don't have anything to prove for your action at that time, right? If you have additional questions for us, ladies and gentlemen, you know how available we are, and you can come to our website, book my time, and I mean, we have even our current client, and they also go on here to book our time because it's easier. You don't have to talk to the reception, and you can just coming in, book our time, and select the time that worked for you. Then it will pop onto my calendar. Actually, when it come to my calendar, when you book my time, I got a notification say someone, oh, congratulations, Ying, someone wanting to talk to you. So that's kind of the message I'm getting. It's really interesting. I guess I can see that as a congratulations, but I also can see that, hey, Ying, make sure you are prepared. And someone is coming to talk to you for a specific subject. When you book my time or any of those partners' time, make sure you give as much information as possible why you want to meet with us. So that would get us prepared, right? And we can claim ourselves to know everything, but if we are well prepared for you, and you will feel that we know everything, and that feeling is not so bad for us. I would enjoy everyone to feel that way about us. So here, Community CPA YouTube channel, subscribe to our channel, folks, and that's our website. You can email Catherine at communitycpa.com, and she actually is the one collecting those topics, and then we prepare. We have so much content day in, day out. Our YouTube channel doesn't even just go once a week. I actually show myself on Tuesday afternoon, and then for 3 o'clock, and I talk about on that 3 o'clock, I talk about a topic that just showed up for us and we need to explain. Then the same Tuesday topic is translated into Spanish, Chinese, and is played out on Wednesday and the Friday. So we do have many videos goes out every week, and it's all related to today. And we're very current in terms of to know what you want to know, because we do have the client base that can really provide us with what really out there in terms of everybody's thinking. And with that said, and our firm is a 6 days a week firm. Yes, since the beginning of the time, we always open Monday to Saturday. And I tell people that when I was a kid, I grew up in China, and I remember my parents worked 6 days a week and not 5 days a week. So I didn't feel I lose anything, and I just, that's just a normal way, right? And of course, we're not slave drivers. Our folks are 40 professionals. We carve out Monday to Friday, Tuesday to Thursday to cover our commitment to our client. So if you don't have time for us during the weekday, no worries. You see us on Saturday. If you don't have time to see us during the day, no worries. You can book our time to see us in the evening. So there is a way, there is a will, there is a way. So if you want to see us, you're always going to find a chance to see us. And I hope to see you to become our client. And I hope you can tell other people about our channel so we can always grow. And the encouragement for us is the subscribers. And we see subscriber going up every week. So we like to see that continue. Thank you for your support. I'll talk to you again on Tuesday. Bye-bye.